Hey y'all, and welcome to today's writing prompt story, narrated by yours truly. Today's story comes from Reddit user RSB, and you can find this story on their subreddit r/regulationwritesOn. And it's about a boy who doodles random designs in their notebook and accidentally summons a demon. We hope you like this story, and if you do, please subscribe to the channel to get more amazing stories from Reddit authors, and check out Regulation Writes On in the description below. Thanks for listening. You know, there are a lot of subjects in school that frankly suck. History, math, literature. Okay, maybe that's just about everything, but bear with me, it's not like you lit up with excitement when you walked into those classrooms either. Truthfully though, I never even tried to pay that much attention, and I was a loner, so it's not like I could turn to a friend and kill time chilling with them. So it was just me, my brain, and my notepad. Those sacrosanct pages destined for the careful notes of an attentive and motivated student, besmirched by my thoughtless doodling and scribbling. Had anyone leafed through those pages, they'd probably think I had some form of a disability. But that's what you get when you cross the school system with a child such as myself. Moving on to the present though, let's discuss why the door of my classroom has been torn off its hinges and embedded in the opposite wall. Why my teacher finally looked up from his PowerPoint teaching materials, and why my classmates are screaming and climbing through the windows to get away. You see, today was a hot day. Hot, muggy, and thick with flies looking to latch on to any passerby unfortunate enough to have working sweat glands. For me, it was a day where even if I had been a model student, I'd have been failing to pay attention anyways. So you can imagine that I was just about ready to meld with my chair and drift away from existence altogether. To keep myself somewhat grounded, I had started doodling some geometric shapes, pentagrams, hexagrams, and a few other grams whose names I didn't know. All of them ensconced in varying degrees of circles, diamonds, and even a few crossbones here or there. One design in particular intrigued me, which was rare enough, so I had decided to iterate upon it and see where I could go with it. It was simple enough, I guess. A pentagram within an inverted pentagram, a few lines around the outside, and some scribbles I thought looked arcane enough to pass for artistic. As I continued drawing, however, the weather outside had changed rather drastically. Bright blue sky gave way to choking dark clouds, and rain began to spit against our windows, even some thunder here or there. I chalked it up to some post-heat thunderstorms and continued on. After my 7th iteration, and nearing the end of class, I decided I may as well turn the page and get some actual class notes going, just in case the teacher walked by. As I went to turn the page, a particularly loud crack of thunder boomed overhead, shaking the windows and making myself and the others jump. With my fingers on the page, I managed to give myself a nice little paper cut, and moving my hand in front of my face to inspect the cut, a single drop of blood fell out onto the most recent pentagram. Instantly, a howl of rage was heard throughout the school, deep and guttural, as though the walls themselves had suddenly gained sentience and realized they were stuck there. Windows cracked, and lights flickered and died as the screams carried on and on with no respite, our eardrums suffering all the while until it finally died down and petered out. After the scream, thuds came up the hall, a second or two apart each time and growing nearer every thud. Finally, just outside our door, they stopped, and a looming shadow could be seen through the frosted, cracked glass. For a second, nothing happened. Then, with a suddenness and explosiveness like a bomb going off, the door was flung from its position in the frame and embedded in the opposite corner like some kind of comically oversized throwing knife. And through the door lumbered what could only be described as a demon. It was so tall it had to stoop to make its way through the door, and even then it had to hunch over to avoid hitting the roof. Its skin was dark red and its hair and nails black. It was wielding some sort of oversized machete and sporting a pair of tracksuit pants, of all things. It awkwardly shuffled to my desk, its gaze keeping me petrified and frozen, while my classmates, bless their souls, booked it to any exit they could find. Finally, the demon arrived at my desk and looked at my notepad seemingly confused, Scratching its head, the demon spoke in a voice surprisingly British and peeved. Oi! Was it you who summoned me to this realm, mortal? Having never even summoned my family pet, a lovely German shepherd, I was confused and terrified at this point. What the hell did this thing mean, summoned? And what was going on? Summoned? What do you mean? Do you mean me? I could not have summoned you, I stuttered, regretting the fact that I was about to have a heart attack and therefore unable to speak with any clarity. Now see here, you little brat. I can see the summoning circles on your notepad there, including the drop of blood to serve as a contract. So don't try to fool me with your evasive stammering. The fact of the matter is, it looks like you managed to summon me, Azazel, by purely accident. As what? How did I even do that? I wondered and stuttered out, eyeing his machete and slowly beginning to push my chair back, hoping for once it wouldn't squeak, as though that would be the cue for this gigantic creature to eat me. Look right there on your notepad. Those summoning circles. And I might add, being halfway summoned 6 bloody times is about the worst thing you can imagine, the line for hell notwithstanding. So, from now on, if you're going to summon me, you may as well do us both the courtesy of doing it right. Is that clear? Yes, I think. Wait, again, why, how, what? I stammered, thinking of 4 or 5 different questions and managing to ask them all at once, a feat made slightly less impressive by the limits of human vocal cords. Listen, you've successfully summoned me, so we're bound now, and that's that. You're going to hell now, so you may as well enjoy yourself on Earth. What's your name anyway? May as well know the name of my new partner in crime, the demon said, leaning back and sitting on the ground, crushing a desk and still towering over me. Wait, I'm going to hell? We're bound, that's it? I don't get to say no thanks and continue on with my day? I asked, finally managing to put out a coherent sentence. Catching myself, I continued, oh, also my name is Robert. Looking back in the moment, maybe giving my name to a literal demon wasn't such a good idea. But when a gigantic creature with a weapon asks your name, you try to avoid being polite. See where that gets you. Afraid not. That drop of blood, as I said, is a contract between you and me. I give you my power and assistance for the remainder of your life, no matter how long or short, and in the end, I get to claim your soul and drag you to a hell for eternity, and all that. So, may as well make the most of it while you're here, Rob, my boy. Now, you may feel the slightest stinging sensation when receiving your new powers, but that's perfectly normal, and even if you did retain the capacity in the moment, I would suggest against screaming. All I managed next was a short squeak before he drew his arm back, still sitting down, and plunged his machete into my chest, ignoring the fact that machetes aren't even supposed to be used like that, and the fact that I really hadn't wanted to get stabbed today. As my vision started to dim from the pain, I looked into the demon's coal-black eyes and saw a small spark in the middle. Alright, lad, there we go. Now remember, you're not the only one who summoned one of my kind, and you'll probably be a target for the rest. Not like I care, the earlier you die, the better, but my colleagues might laugh at me if my partner dies within a week, so try to lay low until you get the hang of this, you hear me? And as much as I wanted to tell him that no, I didn't hear him, I couldn't, as I had passed out by this point and actually hadn't heard him. All I could think was, what? As my consciousness spiraled away and left me. Hey guys, if you liked that story, let me know in the comments down below, and if you want to keep reading it / listening to it, check out Regulation Writes On. His subreddit's down in the description. I'm Sir Pinkbeard, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.